I couldn't get the organic seed, I wanted to neutralize that. Is I wanted your opinion to decontaminate, any traces of those chemicals. That's why I sprayed the whole guns, to see if I could cause a neutralizing effect on the seed before it was there.
Okay, can you, Rick, can you go on to the message? And you got the Bernardo Becara. Can you take this gentleman out of the chat? And go to the other side.
Sure, Mr. Keshe.
He's making a lot of nonsense comments in the background.
Yes, I know. I just warned him about that.
Yeah, take him out. Ban him from all the chat rooms and Zoom, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Carry on, please.
Okay, like the production that is going to be coming this year, with the land being already prepared with the guns, are going to be start the application of the nanomaterials, the different metals that I'm going to be spraying, as I did it before in the different plants, where I grew the biomass of the chili peppers grew almost 3 times bigger as the first cycle,
I remember you telling us that last time.
Yes, I'm going to repeat the same thing this year, and I'm going to do a comparison with the last year, I already got it almost short, all the chili peppers, and I'm putting again the little rings as we did before, when we start with the rings, the CO2 rings, the little hoses with the guns. I'm going to do the same, repeat again, and start, recording info this time, making sure I have some backups,
Thank you very much. Is this all you can share with us, or because we have other people waiting in the background?
Well, at this time there will be an update that that I want to be keeping an update in
I think what we got to do, I've set up an agriculture at Keshe Foundation, agriculture.keshefoundation.org, and I've set up a chat room in the background for the agriculture team. We need to open a section for agriculturists to record their testimonials. So if you go into the Keshe Foundation, agriculture.keshefoundation.org, Vince we will set up a system that people can put only agricultural testimonies in there, like we do with the other side. Okay, if people can put in that the others can benefit by it, and how we can do it. Carry on, please.
Okay. As soon as I get my prototypes already working, I'll send to Renan if they want to have the blueprint of the prototypes that I'm going to be using for energizing the water.
If you send it as it is, because I've seen some beautiful designs from you, and we let the others parallel use them. When you change it, you add to it, let us know. It gets added to a blueprint by Brennan in the background.
Okay, perfect. As soon as I'm going to do the PDF of the measurements and everything, and it can be available for everybody, to.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. And you've been with us for some time. I'm sure we'll come back to sharing knowledge, and if you can join our agricultural group, because
all right, sure.
What I know I think you're teaching as part of the teaching group. Am I correct?
Well, they were asking me to start doing the teaching on that part with Rainier. He was asking me if he wanted to teach, and to say I'm ready. I can teach you whatever I'm learning here and whatever I can, my experience in the agriculture. I don't know at this point how things gonna work, but I'll be open to also teach, and I'm gonna be already. The group that's going to be growing here, and working with me, I'm going to start teaching some of the classes here locally,
Thank you very much indeed. We try to put the agriculture channel in the coming time as we're growing. There are sectors like the health doctors can come and teach each other, and we do agriculture. So we have created the spaceship, we have created the agriculture, and I think we need to have agriculture as part of the teaching on its own, the same as health. It just needs time to get there. Thank you very much for being with us and sharing your knowledge. I enjoy watching you very much. I enjoy watching you last time. Thank you for your time. Who do we have next, Rick? Hello.
Hi, Mr. Keshe. Well, we've got a couple of other things. There was a Miguel that is on here, and I think it's the same Miguel that Vactang from Australia was speaking of, that visited him, and he wanted to be on the workshop. Is Miguel? Is it the same Miguel? I'll unmute you.
What is it? What does he want to show? Is it to do with the agriculture?
Can you hear me?
Let's find out from him himself. Hi,
What
Miguel.
are you? So you carry on.
Go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
What are you going to show us, Miguel? Please.
I want to show you a cube, Mr. Keshe. Can you hear me?
Yes. What is the cube?
Hold on a second. Let me.
For what purpose?
Yeah. What topic are you want to discuss?
The topic. I am wondering if we can use the cube to extract the energy to decrease the earthquake effects.
That I don't know, and we got to see the cube. Today is agriculture.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Come back on Tuesday and we'll look, please.
Okay.
Thank you very much indeed.
That's better.
Can we go to Renan? Renan, what do you have to show us on your agriculture side on the Innovation Center?
Yes, sir. I will. Yes, sir.
Hello.
I think we have to. We just
Hello, sir. Yes.
mute one.
Thank you. I had a feedback a while ago, so I need to off the other computer.
No problem.
So, okay, I would like to. Douglas will be the one to present his work. I'll be sharing the screen, and I think Douglas is online.
Douglas is from United States, part of the innovation group of the Keshe Foundation, I presume.
Yes, sir. That's Douglas.
Douglas, okay.
Yeah, I've just promoted them now. Yep.
Renan, you have some of the work of the participants. If you can make them into a blueprint and post them on the blueprint section, agricultural blueprint, please.
Yes, sir. I will prepare that folder as well so that it will be ready for posting. We'll just collate all the information. So I will share screen for Douglas' presentation. Are you up, Douglas?
Yes, sir.
Hello,
Okay.
Douglas. How are you? Hello.
Yes, sir. I think he's ready there.
We are waiting for you to enlighten us.
I have a blank screen. Is he sharing the screen?
You're still waiting for Renan to share a screen there.
I'm going to stand
Okay, here
off
it comes.
and you carry on.
There we go.
Okay, Douglas, you can start.
Okay. These plasma devices that are used are nano-coated metal tubes, water energizing tubes, and plasma water energizing tubes using CO2 GaNs, using a copper nano-coated tube, and using a copper-coated nano-coated coil with CO2 GaNs. These plasma devices are used to energize water and also raise alkalinity in water for agricultural uses. The nano-coated metal tubes, the water energizing tubes, is what we refer to them, have a coupled together with a zinc tube, a PVC coupling, a copper nano-coated piece of, actually there's several pieces inside the tube here, and then an iron tube, and then another plastic fitting on the end here that connects to an inline agricultural system to decontaminate water, raise the pH level, and also filter, I have found out. This is the tube that you just seen in the schematic that I have created out of parts, some new, some I had laying around the house. The 1/2-inch copper, and we got brass and a brass elbow and a 1/2-inch brass hard pipe with commingled with black iron and an 1.25-inch galvanized water line. We don't use these in the United States for water except in places for farm use. We don't use it for potable drinking water anymore. But inside this tube, you'll see underneath it, there's several series of coil nano-coated copper. And they're 26 millimeters wide, and they're 13 inches long, and they are 4 of them, ranging in sizes from 3/8 all the way up to 1 inch in diameter. I used a wooden dowel rod to wrap these around in a counterclockwise direction, and they're inside of each other, and they fit inside of the galvanized tube. And
do we have a blueprint of this, please?
yes, sir.
You have
Just on the
winded
print
it.
there.
No, the tube winding you show us. You said you winded it. You winded it anti-clockwise.
Yes, sir. Right here. I didn't actually draw a blueprint of this. We can make one real quick.
Yeah, it has to be done because people can see what they have.
Yes, sir. No problem. I found when I put this inside the filtration device, it was used as a nano coating energizer is what it was used for, to energize and supply nutrients for plant growth. What I found in the process of using this is that it also works as a filter. It collects things, sediments, and it attracts it like an ionizer is the only way I could describe it.
But the water does the water touch the material direct?
On this one, yes.
You cannot do that because
it goes through another filtration stage.
Okay, but we cannot. This is part of the way we work. Anything which we consume at the end cannot be directly in touch with nanomaterial.
Yeah, this is at the beginning, sir,
Okay.
of the filtration system.
Clarify. Yeah, okay, no problem. Carry on.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the system.
Yeah, carry on.
The water comes in over here on the right side of the page. If we could go back to that last page so I could clarify some things for some people. The water comes in on the right side of the page over here in the 1/2-inch.
Slow down. Slow down. We've got to learn. It's not just to show. We've got to learn in a nice way. You're showing us beautiful things. Just take your time.
Yes, sir. I'm just nervous.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm telling you to slow down.
On the right side of the page, you'll see a 1/2-inch copper hard pipe, and this is the inlet side of the water that comes from the reservoir tank in the bottom. It comes up and goes through the brass, through the black iron, through the what I call the filtration, the nano-coated filtration device, and then outside and down the vinyl tubing. Now we can go to the next page, Ernie. Down to yes, you can show the blueprint of the coil, and then there's now this is the coil that Mr. Kesh has said that we advised us on. It's nano coated, caustic coated, and fire coated, and caustic steam coated. The copper on the inside is a 1/4-inch copper hard tubing that's been caustic coated and steam coated and fire coated, and the vinyl tubing has been caustic coated on the inside. The vinyl tubing holds the CO2 GANTs, and the water goes through the copper tubing on the inside that does not have any GANTs or anything on the inside of the copper tubing.
And I will just like to add, there's additional design that can be possible. If you don't have any copper tubing, you can use your coils instead of wrapping. So you can use coils to wrap around in case you don't have copper tubing available, but you have wires. So you can also try it
Ah, that's fantastic. But how do you get the coils inside the pipe?
Well, on my instance, Mr. Kesha, as far as the tubing, I had to have help with my daughters, and they stretched out the tubing, and then the vinyl tubing, because that's the hardest part, because it likes to roll back up on you. And while I inserted the copper tubing inside the vinyl tubing, so I had to have help with my daughters.
Yeah, there were 3 people working with this system. For this one, is almost this is 0.75 meters long, and it took 10 meters of coils to just wrap around the hose inside, and we wrap it around with another transparent hose to protect the coils. And this we can put CO2 guns inside the transparent hose, so the hose inside will only receive the energy of the coil and the coil and the guns. So there will be no contamination from the materials.
Very much. Carry on.
So let's continue with the experiment of Douglas with using those devices on above.
Yes, sir. The first thing that I noticed when I done my experiment was I done a 15-minute interval test on the first hour, and I was using regular tap water in the reservoir, and in the reservoir, my tap water registered a pH of 7.2, and undissolved solids, parts per million of 223. Within 15 minutes, my pH had dropped down, had went up to 7.6. My parts per million had dropped to 5. Within another 15 minutes, my parts per million went up to 7. The pH 7.3. The next 15-minute interval, the pH jumped to 7.5, and parts per million stayed at 7. And the last 15-minute interval, which would be an hour later, my pH jumped to 7.5 with a parts per million at 9. 24 hours later, the pH had risen to 7.6, and with undissolved solids at 26 and 13 parts per million, confirming that the pH and all the undissolved solids and parts per million were being increased by the effects of the nano-coated structure.
What is that melon doing in your drawing we missed? What was that melon on the top?
That's just a picture of a cantaloupe.
Yeah.
That's one of the controlled experiments that we're using. It's a picture as a reference to, so people know what seeds and the plants that we're fixing to show that we're growing.
Are you using those seeds?
I'm using organically grown seeds that I grew here on my yard in 2013.
Okay, so is those melons inside these other seeds you collected?
Yes. Well, not those particular melons, but one similar.
Well, it was very appetizing, so I just
Yes.
want to.
Yes. Yes. Hard to keep melons with 3 daughters.
Yeah, carry on.
The control experiment is ordinary growing in reverse osmosis water. And specimen B was in CO2 GANS in soil, four seeds at first, then I transplanted 2 of the specimens and 1 specimen into and 2 different apparatuses. Specimen 3, which is specimen C, was a drip feed with nano-coated copper RO tap water filtration device. Specimen D is an aeroponics high-pressure mist bucket with CO2.
Slow down, you're going too fast.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cage.
Slow down.
Yes, specimen C is a drip feed, which is a continuous drip feed off of the structure you've seen earlier, which you'll see more of here in a minute, with a nano-coated copper RO, which is reverse osmosis water, tap water filtration device. The water comes out of my RO filter at right around 7.0 to 7.03, depending. And specimen D is an aeroponics high-pressure mist bucket system with with CO2 GANS only in it, and 2 gallons. And I have the mixture of the CO2 GANS at 20 milliliters of CO2 GANS per 2 gallons of RO water, which is some really clean water. And I have phenomenal results from the high pressure bucket, as we'll see here shortly. Phenomenal root growth. These are the seeds that that I had to put in CO2 GANS water and tap water during the germination process.
How long did you put them in there?
The CO2 seeds germinated faster by 3 days than the RO water. They were actually, those dates are from my first experiment, and we had an emergency here and something happened, so I restarted the experiment on the 10th with regermination on the 10th of January, and on the 16th of January I planted them in the soil, which you'll see here shortly because Renan's already updated the file. So the CO2 GANS went then in the soil. I put them both in the soil at the same day, and this is day 10 from germination, and you can see on the right the CO2 GANS in the soil, and you can see on the left the different comparisons. Now these are both under an 18-watt fluorescent bright light or bright white light, minimal wattage. The CO2 GANS in the soil, I have noticed throughout the testing procedures that, and all my data confirms that the CO2 holds a special property that allows moisture to be retained in the soil, whereas the regular RO water on the left here, I have to water every other day. The CO2 GANS, I only have to water once a week.
This is in line with what we saw with the test in Kenya.
Yes, sir.
You get faster, so you don't use that much. And this we have seen a long time. This is why we said these seeds are perfect for Africa. Places like Biafra, where there's always very short summer, where very little rain, these seeds are perfect. It answers the hunger. We know this for a long time now. That you're showing us clearly the application.
And if you'll notice the really uniform, equal growth is, I like to use the word Mr. Kesh uses, is correct in the CO2 GANS on the right. All the plants are of equal height, equal growth, and they all look terrific. And you'll see the ones on the left in the RO condition that they, one looks, they've all got some kind of little deformity to them, it would appear. They're not growing equally. And they're not healthy and vibrant looking.
Can you tell us what does you have a RO water? Can you explain to us what it is?
Yes, sir. That is a reverse osmosis is what that is. It's a water filtration device system that is set up in household residential applications and commercial too. But mine is set up for residential, and it's a 7-stage filtration system that takes out 99.9% of all undissolved solids, parts per million, and chlorine, contaminants. It'll take just about anything out except nuclear material.
So you're not actually feeding the poor chap. That's why it's so deformed.
Yes, exactly.
You gotta give him a normal water. You're starving him. He's got nothing to live on. I would have been very, very careful with this, because you have to use a normal water, not the water which is cleaned out. In the nature, we don't have a cleaned out water. So carry on, please.
Yes, sir.
Use
usually in the first stages of plant growth, we find that there's enough in the nutrients in the soil itself for the plant to get through the first 3 weeks of the stages of life without any nutrients at all. So being the case there, you can see that there's a big difference in the CO2 compared to the RO. This is the initial setup that I had started before I moved to the bigger room. And as you can see, the water filtration device in the back corner there going around, the pump pumps it through and it goes back in through a continuous feed into a waterfall, creating aeration. So there's no need for an air pump. It's supplying oxygen into the water. The continuous drip feed is going to the C bucket, the one listed as C, and the D bucket is another controlled plant, and the A bucket is the RO plants, the RO water plants that I had just sitting up there under the light. I had all these plants under the light while I was building the other room. This was a temporary setup so I could keep everything running according to the way we were working the schedule until I could get the room built.
Carry on, please.
This is after the plants were separated, and I left the one in the CO2 GANT soil, and these are the ones in the RO soil here. The ones, there were 4 in each when we started, and the 4 got separated from the soil and the 4 got separated from the CO2 GANTs. 1 was left in the soil, 2 were put into a drip stage, and 1 was put into the aeroponics mist bucket with CO2 GANTs. These are the first, like I said, these are the first pictures of the initial drip stage that I just rigged up temporarily until we could get the ag room built. And this shows the plants being fed. And this shows the growth at day 24. And you can see the soils. This is really good soil. This is potting soil that I got from my wife's flower bed around her roses. She didn't know that though. And over on the right we have the CO2 GANTs, and as you can see, the soil is not near as good as around the CO2 GANTs. I just grabbed some soil out of the yard for it, and the plant is 3 times the size of the other ones. And there's still no uniform growth on the RO water plants. This is the high pressure aeroponics mist bucket. There are a series of high pressure jets with a pump inside of a bucket with a net basket with hydroton clay pellets. These are neutral. They won't hold nutrients, and they don't have nutrients, and they don't supply nutrients. They are just a medium for growing in, to show people that we can grow plants in any condition, whether it be sand, rock, clay, whatever, using the CO2 GANTs. This bucket has only 2 gallons of reverse osmosis water, which is pH'd at 7.0 and 5 parts per million, with 20 milliliters of CO2 GANTs added to the water. This is set in an interval of every 4 hours. It clicks on every 4 hours by a timing system and waters the plant for 15 minutes intervals every 4 hours, or 4 times a day, every 6 hours, sorry. This is another updated picture. This is the bucket on the right side after I had just transplanted the plant. So it was going through transplant shock for a few days. I think it was about 3 or 4 days it took to settle out. On the left, we have the drip feed, still in its temporary position. Oh, I've got a visitor on that one. Looks like a fly was visiting us. And you can see the 2 drip feed plants are really taking off to their new environment, and they're really loving the energized water that they're receiving from the nanostructures. Here's another picture comparing the RO plant to the CO2 GANTs plant. As you can see, the notable difference in size to the CO2 on the right compared to the RO on the left. And this is at day 30. This is also at day 30. And for the first time in my life, and I've been farming most of my life and growing cantaloupes for a long time, I have flowers on cantaloupe plants in 30 days. Now, this is a first for me. And this is in the nano-coated copper structure that's on the continuous drip feed. The aeroponics bucket on the right here, you can see is a slight discoloration. This is still going through transplant shock. Here we see the cantaloupe plants again at A33. And once again, the CO2 GANs, as you can see, the root structure underneath there is just really taking off. The lower leaves are starting to deplete the energy sources from them and dry up, which is a normal reaction in plant growth. And on the left, we see the RO plants are vibrant and green, but still lacking in the growth structure and the root structure as the CO2 GANs plant. On day 33, we noticed that on the aeroponics mist bucket that the plant has finally overcome its transitional shock period from transplant. And we look over on the drip feed nano coating bucket, and we see that just a couple days later that these plants have almost tripled in size, and we have flowers coming off of 3 nodes. I was very excited to see my flowers. Here's a close-up picture of the flowering, and this is at day 34. And like I said, very excited about the flowering. This is a first for me. I had a fondness in my heart for agriculture. Been involved with it for over 30 years, and so this was this kind of made me jump up and down. I was pretty excited about this because this opens up all kinds of new doors for the world. Now here's the new ag system that I had been working on out in my building, getting it built and getting it set up properly so we could have a proper demonstration. It just took me a while to do it as I'm by myself. And as you can see in the first picture on the right here at the top right corner, we've got the bucket and the control plants and the continuous drip feed system all set up and going with the water filtration device at the top left corner there. You can see that the water comes up through the green tube and it goes into the copper and it goes through the structure and it comes back down and it comes back up and comes through where Rena was going with his pointer through the copper coated CO2 GANs filled energizing water tube, and that feeds the plants. As you can see, it's connected to a smaller, by a reduction of fittings, is connected to a smaller tube that is connected to a manifold tube there on the tray that feeds each plant individually a continuous amount. They all each receive the same amount of water. And as to not put any filtration devices that we buy from a store that would, such as charcoal or anything like that, I made my own filters so somebody couldn't say, well, he's put something in there that's done this. So I used just a aquarium fishnet filter, as you can see where the reservoir drains back down in from the tank and the water goes through the net. There's 13 inches of water, or 13 inches of fall from the drain line to the reservoir tank. So there's more than enough adequate aeration. There's no need for an air device to keep water, to keep air in the water. This screen works really well, as I have seen. It picks up minute contaminants that go through and don't get caught, and this catches them. And I empty it about every 3 or 4 days for any debris that gets in there. So there's no artificial filters in there at all. It's only nano-coated structure. And here's a graph of the specimens of A, which would be the soil, and compared to B and C, which would be the CO2 GANs in the drip feed systems, in the bucket systems. And you can see the increase in growth compared to the soil. And to be honest, I've actually taken better care of the soil plants because I seen them, they were not doing as well. So I gave them a little extra tender loving care, and you know, I did everything but add nutrients to them. And they're growing, they're really vibrant, they're really green, but they still, in the latter pictures, they're nowhere near the size of the other plants. This is the height growth chart with the comparisons of all 3 controlled systems. And as you can see, the difference in this also, a notable difference. This is the leaf count, and as you'll see on this, there's a notable difference. The leaf count went up almost every other day with the CO2 GANTS plants, and the soil plants, you know, they would grow and then level off, grow and level off, as you can see according to the chart.
Okay, Douglas, we show the video.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Douglas. I'm gonna share a video, another short explanation by Douglas for a run through the whole setup that he made, so you can see it through video.
Hey, it's Douglas, February the 15th, 2016, explaining my agricultural setup I have here. This is a water filtration device. As you can see, we got copper, brass, black iron, galvanized. Inside the galvanized pipe, there's pictures that show the nano structure out of copper that I made inside the tube here. This is a filter. This goes down, back up into the CO2 GANTS water energizer tube. This is 1/4 inch copper tubing, vinyl tubing, 1/2 inch OD outside. The copper tubing has been nano coated. It's been caustic coated and fire coated. And the vinyl tubing has been caustic coated. There's CO2 GANTS inside of it. As you can see, these are the caps to fill a CO2 GANTS. It's a water line, and it feeds the drip system. The drip system feeds each plant equally, and I have a device, a valve where I can slow ones down and speed ones up. This is the soil, cantaloupe soil. As you can see, it's a good color. It's healthy. It's vibrant, but compared to the drip feed with no nutrients, just energized water, tap water, mind you, and my tap water is horrible. And this is RO water coming out of my filtered system, and it filters in at 7.013, I think, on the pH, and 5 parts per million. This is the CO2 GANTS in the soil. As you can see, compared to the other one in the soil, it is almost 3 times the size. The CO2 GANTS requires water about once a week. This one requires water, the regular water requires water every other day. This is a high pressure mist system, and we will, as you can see, it is, this was set into motion on the 2nd, transplanted. It went through a few days of shock. And as you can see, in less than 2 weeks, look at the root growth we got here. And inside the bucket, you can see is a series of jets that go around, and it's set on a timer, and it feeds 4 times a day. Now, there is only CO2 GANTS in this bucket and distilled water. That's all that's in there. And I put 2 gallons of distilled water. I put 20 milliliters of CO2 GANTS in there, straight CO2 GANTS, to 2 gallons. And you can see it's took off. It's got past the shock. It's growing like a weed now, and roots are phenomenal. We have another tray set up here with another nano-coated structure that we're going to have up and running as soon as these seeds over here germinated. We do have some ginseng that has germinated finally, and we set it out on the 10th of January, so it's been over a month. Ginseng is a real hard plant to get to germinate. I have 5 in the CO2 that have germinated, and only 1, and I'm not sure about the one on the RO water. As for my other seeds, I got beefsteak tomato, in RO and CO2 GANs. I've got Market More Cucumber in water and CO2 GANs, and I've got cayenne pepper in water and CO2 GANs. And you can see the RO water there, the light's getting to it. I broke it open today. They still haven't germinated, which I'm starting to wonder if these aren't some bad seeds. I have had some, like I said, the ginseng has germinated now in the CO2 GANs, and I have had a few of the tomatoes on the RO and CO2 GANs that have germinated. The rest of these seeds have not germinated, and I'm wondering if they're too old. They were in the package from last year, and I thought I would try them. They're not germinating, so I'm going to think that that might be a failure on these right here on these four. But these four here we're going to get put in I've got peat moss pellets, and they will go in the pellets tomorrow, or tonight actually, and they'll stay in the pellets until they come up above the soil and start root growth over here in this tray. I'll put them in that float bed right there in that tray, and they will sit there until they get tall enough to transplant, and then I'll transplant them over here to where they'll be drip fed. I'm going to keep the CO2 GANs in the drip feed section. I'll keep the RO in soil over here on this side, on the tomatoes. Construction of the Energizer 2 was per the schematic diagram, and this is a small setup here. It's not an elaborate setup, and it's not big enough for a house. As you can see, it's low pressure. It's a drip feed system. It's not designed for high pressure, even though I do have a pretty strong pump on it. Now the nano-coated structure can be made with a bigger pipe and a bigger vinyl tubing to adequately accommodate household pressure or pressures that exceed 35 to 40 pounds. This here is hard pipe copper, hard pipe brass, hard pipe black iron, hard pipe galvanized with 4 pieces of nano copper inside of this in a spherical design that I call the filter. And this is a nano-coated copper filtration device. And like I said, it circulates the water through the Energizer tube. Energizer tube feeds the plants. They drain down through the drain there, and they come through my homemade filter here, which is a fish net. And as you can see, it's falling about 13 inches there. So there's plenty of aeration. There's no need in an air pump. The pump continually feeds 24/7. I've got a small heater in here to keep it above 70 degrees in here. This was a problem this winter, trying to keep this place warm, so I've enclosed it in here on this side of my building so I could keep this warm, because it's a pretty big building out here. So now we've got that problem solved. We can have everything up and running properly like it should be. But this is just an update. Like I said, February 15, 2016. And CO2 copper nano Energizer tubes, water filtration device, drip feed irrigation system, soil and CO2 GANs in controlled environments, and high pressure CO2 GANs, high pressure spray mist setup with CO2 GANs. And like I said, we've got some more coming. We'll have this one done here probably in the next day or so. Finish nano coating the inside and outside of it. It's been caustic coated inside. Now I have to nano coat the outside and caustic coat it again and get it set up. And it'll be a drip, also another drip irrigation system that will feed the soil plants over here on this side. Anyway, you guys have a blessed day. And this is the update for February the 15th. God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much
Uh,
indeed. Thanks.
Okay, sir. There's one more thing that we'll present. I think Bernie has his version of the cantaloupe as well. He's gonna be sharing findings. Can you share, Bernie?
Yeah, I will share.
Sorry, Bernie, can you just give us 1 second, please? Can you please make the blueprint for these available as fast as possible?
The drawings are for the 3D drawings are already available. I'm just putting it in the cloud, and it will be accessible by Vin and Rick as soon as it's already filled.
So if you can add it to the blueprint on agriculture, please.
Okay, sir.
Okay, carry on,
Okay.
please. Now we got Bernie.
Yes,
Hi,
I'll
Bernie, how
share
are
my
you?
screen. Yeah, I'm doing good. Yes,
Thanks very much.
I would like to share my plants.
Can you share your screen now? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Sharing
good.
the screen now.
For those who don't know, Bernie is part of the Keshe Foundation Innovation Group, so they do their own tests as most of you would do. This is how we work in the natural as the rest. We don't create sophisticated labs to do things that it might look good just because it has to be. This is how it's done, and it's better to see it this way. Exactly what all of us will do in our own place. Carry on, please.
Okay. We all know that we can use CO2 GANs, the water on the CO2 GANs for the plants. So we conducted our own test to verify, and we started the testing December 30, 2015, and concluded January 26, 2016. And the plants are still growing and developing at this time. We have a couple of cantaloupe seedlings for every kind of or type of water. So, let's say, for example, for tap water, 2 seedlings for that one, and for rainwater, 2 seedlings for that one. And we have 6 different water being used during the testing. I have rainwater, just plain water collected every time when it rains using a plastic container, and a tap water which passing through a regular filtration, and not the reverse osmosis one, only the regular filtration, like a filter, then activated carbon, then another ceramic filter, just enough for human consumption. That is the same water we use as drinking water. Another is rainwater, but this time we put a nano-coated copper inside the bottom of the container. Then the same rainwater treated rainwater, but this time we treat it with GANS water. This rainwater, the treatment for CO2 GANS water here is only one time during the first day of testing. The rest, the water used every day or every time we water the plants, we're only introducing the field of CO2. No additional GANS water directly on the plant. Another water is tap water that is exposed with fields of GANS. We don't add the GANS water, just pass the water around the container where CO2 GANS is inside. So another one is rainwater treated with a nano-coated copper, the same as this one here, but we add an additional exposure with the fields of CO2 GANS, same as we did with the tap water. So I have here the photographs. They are arranged in this way. The rainwater with nano-coated copper. This is day 1. So then here rainwater. Then this column is for tap water. Then rainwater with CO2 GANS water. Only this first day I have to zoom in here. Only this first day, that is, we add the upper portion of the GANS container, that is water. We let the GANS settle at the bottom, then we around 1 ml or more. We mix it with a liter of water, then we water these 2 pots. The rest, no more GANS water, but just the field. Okay. Next, this is the tap water exposed with CO2 GANS field. This last one is rainwater with the nano-coated copper and also exposed with CO2 GANS fields. So we're just using the fields here, and for this one, the water only. No GANS on the soil or on the plants. Just the water. So this is day 1 and this is day 7. I took photographs every day. I just presented here a span of, let's say, every week. If you've noticed on the photographs, there is consistent darker color on this one with rainwater, with CO2 GANS water. Others have similar colors, but this one is different. Okay, on the next page, we have there on day 16, we now have an obvious difference, very obvious difference on the growth. The rainwater is left behind here, and even with this nano-coated copper, the tap water grows well, but this one has more leaves than this one. The tap water is behind, a leaf behind than the GANS water. The rest are also doing fine, but it is rainwater with GANS, with CO2 GANS water that grows a lot faster, and the colors are consistent. If you look the previous page, the colors are darker. I set my camera here to have a consistent, let's say, for this day 7, the camera setting is the same. So I don't influence, the camera setting should not influence the color of the leaves. So I have the accurate reading on the capture of the color. So as you can see, there are a lot, the color are not darker here, but this one is very consistent. So in here, you might be tricked that the tap water have larger leaves, but if you look at the pots here, the pots is farther from the camera because I cannot capture the entire plant without zooming out. So if we have this for the tap water, the one with the GANS, the CO2 GANS water is already ahead with with another segment here, while this one still have no segment or extra segment and more leaves here, and the color is very significant here, darker color on this one. Okay, I'll zoom out. So this is a very good comparison among different treatment on water. If we rank all of them, the first that grows faster is the one with CO2 GANS water. Next is this with tap water, and together with this tap water exposed with CO2 GANS fields. Then this one, and then next is rainwater treated with nano-coated copper, and the last one is rainwater only. Okay, at day 40, I've noticed some flowers already. These plants are placed outside at the backyard, just outside our door, so they are exposed outside. However, the sun, exposure of the sun on this plant is only for half a day. The area at the back is facing the east. However, it's the placement on the plants. They are beside the wall that at noontime, they are no longer exposed directly. They have no sun, direct sunlight exposure for the rest of the day. So it's only in the morning. So there must be a delay. If they are exposed well whole day under the sun, so it is possible we have more growth. But for the test, I keep everything consistent, the placement consistent, and they are distanced more than a foot apart. On the 4th day, I see flowers in them. And on the 20th day, we change our parameters, our testing parameters. I treated all of them with tap water treated with fields of CO2 GANs. I don't want the rest or the other plants left behind. I want them to grow together. So on that, because it's already conclusive that the plant treated with the CO2 GANs water is way ahead among the rest. So on the 20th day, I treated all of them with the same water that is exposed with CO2 GANs. In here, the photo on the 23rd day, so I started treating all of them on the 28th day, the same quality water. You will notice if we compare it on day 16, the leaves here becomes darker. All of them becomes darker, while this one is maintaining a much darker because it is already ahead among the rest. So at the day 27, you'll notice colors are much darker compared to day 16, which have no exposure of the same water. So the rest were able to catch up, and at 40th day, I have this flowering. They are flowering already, and they are beautiful flowers. And the other day, that is on February 16, I have this. Almost all of them have these beautiful flowers. Okay, and I have another report from a farmer on the same using CO2 GANs water. On December 27 last year, 2015, we conducted a free workshop for the people of Davao City. Davao City is the largest city in terms of land area and is located in the southern part of Mindanao and is surrounded with agricultural lands. The participants, around 50 of them, were able to learn nano coating, GANs production, and application of these materials for health, energy, and agriculture. And on February 13, a farmer who attended the workshop provided us a report that his rice plants are growing better after application of water treated with CO2 GANs fields. This is just fields of CO2 GANs, and the CO2 GANs is inside a plastic, a sealed plastic, the one we use as a CO2 GANs patch for health applications. I suggested that at that time when we teach them, we share to them about how to make this patch. I told them, you can use this on a pipe or at the exterior, at the end, most part of the pipe where water comes out on your irrigation system, to let water pass through on top of this patch, that it can help improve the water. The farmer did that only 2 weeks ago. So at that time, the rice is already 58 years old when he took this photograph. And for 2 weeks period, he treated the water with GANs fields from the CO2 GANs patch. The farmer was surprised because they have this, the usual growth of rice, the usual height is only 1 meter. The average height is only 1 meter, but this one reaches 110 centimeters or 1.1 meter. So it's much taller, and the color is much greener, darker. Usually rice have this yellowish on some areas, and he compared it to the neighboring rice fields. His rice is different from the rest. And another problem presented to us by the farmer is these black bugs. They call black bugs. The bugs eats the rice leaves, and they use pesticides for this, and I suggested we have to stop using pesticides. We have to try another means of another means of solving this problem. I suggested that how about we talk to these bugs? These are also beings. What if we talk to them? I know, just like we talk to other animals. It's just a thought at that moment. However, the farmer implemented our suggestion, and to his surprise, it is only his farm that is not eaten by these bugs. After that, the rest and the neighboring area, they were eaten by these bugs, and these people use pesticides. And today, while having this agricultural discussion, I come to a realization, other than talking to these other beings like these bugs, maybe the bugs did not no longer have this interest eating these plants because of the energy in the area. They don't, because they are already energized, so they don't have this interest anymore in eating these rice plants. So this is very good news for us in the agriculture. And another application that I have experienced is on this tea plant. As you can see on the left side, this tea plant almost lost all of its leaves. I don't know what happened at this tea plant. I was very busy. I just noticed this plant on the side that my wife is taking care of one of his plants. So I sprayed. This happens, I believe, in December. Yes, last year, December, I sprayed CO2 GANS water. That's around 1 ml or less of a drop of CO2 GANS water to a liter of tap water. So I sprayed it on this plant. Then after 26 days, this what happens. More leaves and shiny leaves on the plant. So it is proof that we have verified that yes, indeed, CO2 GANS water or the field from CO2 GANS can help our plants. That would be all for my sharing today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bernie.
Carry on, brother.
Okay, you're welcome. So I'll have to stop sharing.
Carry on, brother, please.
Okay, sir. I think that's all for what we have prepared. But the drawings, the detailed drawings that we have, it's ready, and I'm going to communicate with Vince because Vince has already access. So I'll just fill up the data on the cloud, and Vince, we're gonna pick it up just to put it in a proper place. So it will be updated soon, sir. Thank you
very much. Thank you indeed. Okay, Rick, is there anything else for us?
Well, Mr. Kesh, it is getting on here to
It's
on
a
the
green,
5 hours.
it's a blueprint day. We have all the time. Is there anything?
Okay. Well, we can open it up here. I don't think I have anything solid
may
lined
I
up for
show
you.
something?
Okay,
All
who's
right.
that?
Hello, I am Mario here from Germany. I'd like to show something.
And it's related to,
Please?
No, it's not related. Someone else contacted me, and I think he doesn't really speak English, so he asked me to show it to you. He thinks he created power electricity out of GANs only, or GANs or the nano-coated wire, and he has a really short video that I could show.
Yes, let's have a look.
Maybe you know what's
Okay.
happening.
Go ahead,
okay?
show us, please. Yes, please.
okay.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
You can see the video. Okay, I'm starting.
Yes.
This is very nice. Thank you very much. We know this. You can run this for weeks, for months. This is something we did in early 2007, 2008. This is the property of it till the container gets saturated with GANs and then it stops. This is perfect. We have seen this is the nano coating absorption of the energy from its environment. Thank you very much.
Can this be increased if you have like?
No, it usually works with. It depends how many compartments you make it. The bucket is big. If you put 20 of these buckets next to each other, you can run motors. We've done that. We did that. And we showed it to Elector magazine in 2000 and what do you call it? 8, 9, something in that region. They tested it. In one of the pictures in one of the books where you see I hold the GANs, where the GANs paper is, in there you see the compartments. We run the motors with it. You can put the connections in parallel and series, and you can collect. But once the water gets saturated with GANs, then the power slowly dies down. I've run this for months, and as I said it before, it's beautiful to see it. It brings back a lot of good memories. But after, depending on the load you use, then it disappears. I used to send a message to by email every day. I've been enlightened to keep the track of. And we never found out that what we sent to be enlightened was of use for us. It was sent to the red circle. And so they knew we are in the right track. So I've seen this.
There's one other thing he asked, and he's working with flints, you know, the rocks you make a fire with.
Yeah.
He's collected lots of them, and he asked if they could be used for something.
I don't know. Let him use it.
Okay, yeah. He's testing it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything else to share?
Mr. Keshe from Argentina.
Yes, can you speak louder, please?
Yes, I'd like to share some knowledge about Victor Schauberger about waters. The water, when you put it in high pressure in tubes, it dies. It kills the water. And in rear osmosis filters, you got high pressure and you take all the nutrients out of it. So that water doesn't give any nutrients to the soil. And as for the tools and the pipes, you should use copper pipes and not steel pipes, and tools also. If you use steel tools and plows, it is a negative catalyst for the soil and the plants. You've got to use copper tools or bronze.
I never heard that before. Thank you for your knowledge.
Yes, Victor Schauberger was a very deep in studying all to do with waters.
They've just for your information, Mr. Keshe, they've done scientific tests on that apparently, and they replaced the steel plows with like bronze at one point and had much better results. The iron gets in the soil somehow and depletes the soil and makes it turn into dust more readily rather than holding together as a soil.
Yes. Still makes these tools in Germany.
Yeah, but the point is, maybe let's look at it the other way. Now we understand the science a little bit more. Maybe when we use copper plows or bronze plows which carry copper in them or whatever, maybe every time we put them in, drops of GANs of copper with the salt inside creates GANs.
That could be it, yes.
That could be
I think so.
the reason we see this. Now we have unraveled the secret of creation and how life goes. It's very easy if you think only in one way of the way they call it the agriculture or whatever life works. We can unravel a lot of what has been we couldn't understand. because land contains salt, and every time you plow it, you create a very faint nano coating with whatever is in the ash or whatever in the ground. And as you do it on regular basis, you keep on leaving a little bit of traces of the GANs in the water or in the soil.
The same as it with the water, in the pipe, if you put marbles into the pipe where the water circulates, it creates vortexes, and that livens the water up. It gives it life.
Yeah, but let's explain it what happens when you have a vortex condition, anywhere vortex. You amalgamate the energies, free energies, or the plasmatic fields of the water into one point, into concentrating in certain atomic or plasmatic condition. This we know. This you see this as we have tornadoes, and we have vortexes in our tornadoes. In a space, we get the same thing, and usually at the point end of these tornadoes in the galaxies or in the biggest star formations, we see them to be connected to the center of energy.
Yes, 0-point energies, as they call it.
It's not zero. There is never zero. This is the seed. That's where all the energy is. There is nothing zero. It's actually full of everything. This
Yes,
0-point energy has become another word for black hole, which is actually totally wrong.
Yes, yes, but I interpret 0-point as the zero of the coordinates.
Yeah, but we call it the center point, the end and the principal point of it, because then it has a meaning. People, when you say zero is nothing there or whatever as coordinates, it's a point of a start, and a point of a start usually is the most powerful part of any structure, because that's most of the energy is deposited. Thank you very much for the knowledge. Thank you indeed.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you indeed. Anything else we have? Or we call it a day?
Yes, maybe we can just quickly run through a couple of things here, Mr. Keshe. There's we have this item here.
Can I ask while you're on this online, Vince, are you there, please? Yeah, Vince, can you put the Keshe Foundation, the bay is immediately under the banner line, should be right in big page. We have officials which are on the site today, and the government. They want to look at the banner. They most probably want to attend the meeting of the bay. Take it off the revolving. Let it be on the revolving banner, but just bring it underneath where you put the interview with the lady. That can. Yeah, do it urgent, because we know they are there. We have officials and a couple of world leaders on the line today because of the activities we are involved in, and it shouldn't be there. Just put something there, bring the same banner down, and then we can carry on. We are working very hard for promotion of the Keshe Foundation meeting on 21st in Dubai, and we've been noted by world leaders. We know what's going on, and in so many ways, a number or a delegate from the governments will attend the meeting, and this we need that urgent, please. Thanks very much. Carry on, please.
Okay, we have a person from China, I believe. I'm not sure who it actually is. They don't leave their name, only sorry, it's Lion Zhang from China, and he asks, I want to make an energy cup, is it right? And he shows.
Why not? You can do it, why not?
Okay.
Just do everything else in different layers of it, tap on it, why not? There is no way we can see, the knowledge is so vast, and applications, we come up with what we think. People in the time of disaster will make anything like this to survive, and they'll find out they'll survive. We have one of our Keshe Foundation followers, he listens most probably today. He was with us when there was a disaster. He lives or lived off just a cup of black water. This is the way we know it works. We know people use it. But remember, just because you had a cup of life, because you drank the water now, it has to give you energy for the rest of your life. Your body consumes energy, so you have to keep on continuously drinking from it as you eat. And you have to, that process allows you to recycle the energy inside your body.
I know Douglas had an amazing story that he gave in the online teachings about his adventure with a cup of life that radically changed his life and those around him too, because it changed him. So it's
Does he want to explain to us? Douglas, better come back.
no. Sorry, Doug.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Involved there, but
Pardon?
Hi, Douglas.
Yes, sir, Mr. Keshe.
Explain to us, what has cup of life done to you?
Well, as a few of you know, in 2007, I was struck down with a debilitating injury in my lower back. My spine was fused at the L5 and S1 vertebrae with 5 titanium rods, which has rendered me basically useless as a man, being able to work or provide for my family, which has brought about financial hardships and everything else that followed along with it. Anxiety, depression, weight gain, you name it, and I went down that road and have been going down that road since 2007. Since Mr. Keshe introduced this technology in October, I've been adamantly researching and experimenting. And when the Cup of Life came out, you know, I got me a cup and made me a cup and out of a 2-walled cup, and took it apart and put a nano-coated copper plate around the inner wall and filled it with some really good high-quality CO2 GANs and distilled water, and sealed the cup back up. And the first 2 days I drank from the cup, I was so energized that I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to do with all the energy. And from that point forward, it's been a progression that's a fairy tale. I mean, really, I had a doctor's visit today. I don't eat but once a month or once a day now. I go about 18 hours a day, full of energy. I don't eat very much at all. My wife's sitting right here. She can confirm this. At the doctor today, after visits since October, since the introduction of the Keshe technology, I have stayed at a constant 164. Today I was 165.3, which showing there is absolutely no weight loss. My hair is becoming darker. I've lost some of the gray in my hair. My skin tone around my arms is becoming tighter. I joked with the students today, you know, to the point where, you know, the cup is giving me the impression that I'm getting younger, which I laughed about, but really it kind of is in a way. It makes me feel younger. It makes me feel emotionally better. It has brought peace to my family. There is nowhere near the amount of animosity that goes on in my family anymore. You know, we're not in a state of constant fear of worrying about this bill or that bill. You know, I'm able to get out and do things with my family now, like go to the store and be able to make it through the store for longer than 15 minutes without having to sit down. You know, so this has brought a more productive part to my life. It's made me more interactive with my children. I'm able to get out and push my son around the yard now on his little 3-wheeler. And my girls, I'm able to do things with. And, you know, I was told never to chop wood again. And I have been experimenting against the doctor's recommendations because I trust Mr. Keshe far more than I do any doctor. And I have been busting wood for a month now, continuously about every other day, because I burn wood here as an alternative source of heat. And I've not had any issues at all. Now, am I completely pain-free? No, absolutely not. But is the pain subsided to where I'm having a better quality of life? Absolutely. This is the most amazing thing that has ever happened in my life. I was overwhelmed with the GANs from the beginning. I fell in love with the GANs. There's something special about the GANs, and it touched me in my heart. And I have followed my heart with working everything that I do involving the GANs. And I love my cup. My father has wanting a cup. He's 66 years old, and I let him experience a little bit of CO2 GANTs, and he was amazed at the amount of energy that he had. He said that he walks every morning with senior citizens at a local place, and he has to sit down about every 20 minutes and rest. And when he had the CO2 GANTs, he was his friends were asking him how come he was able to had all that energy and he didn't have to sit down. And he didn't want to tell anybody. He was kind of afraid to tell anybody that I had given him something because he didn't really know what it was and he didn't understand it. But since my visit, I've come back home, he's reminded me 3 times on the phone, please send him one of these cups. That he can't wait for his cup to get in the mail, and I've got 12 new cups I'm making right now to pass out to different people that are in my life, whether friends or family that have emotional problems or problems that are not exactly right in their life. The way I look at it and the way I can understand it is the cup makes things right. As I explained to my students today, I was a coffee drinker and I was a cigarette smoker. The cup has I call it a judging effect. It tells me when things that I put in my body are not good for me, and it does so by some kind of communication that is hard for me to explain. But I knew the cigarettes were causing me problems, and the cup was informing me of that. And after being years of smoking, a regular hard smoker, I've not touched a cigarette in 30 days. Witnesses for that too. I was an avid coffee drinker, 3-4 pots a day. About a week ago, the cup was telling me, I can't drink the coffee anymore. So it was causing an interaction. The cup is correct, as Mr. Keshe likes to use that word. I'm using his phrase. The cup is correct. And I put something in my body that's not correct. So the cup informs me of it. I quit drinking coffee. I no longer have that reaction. So when I put things in my body that I know aren't good for me, and I know it myself, the cup also communicates with me that they're not good for me. So the cup has some very special benefits to it that are sometimes really hard for me to explain because I'm a layman in this kind of technology. It's absolutely amazing. And I've said it time and time again, I owe Mr. Keshe my life because he has given my life to me back. And my family is also very grateful, my wife including, and my children, and my father is very grateful to Mr. Keshe because he has seen me go through some really hard times in the last 2 years especially. And no, the cup does not communicate with me verbally. No, absolutely not. It's a reaction that I get in my body. I call it a hypersensitivity action. My body becomes acutely aware of something almost immediately after ingesting it if it's not right. Like I've almost quit eating meat. I still consume a little, but it's just there's something about it, that it's a feeling, and it's a hypersensitivity. It makes my body feel different. When I eat vegetables, I don't have that effect. When I drink water, I don't have that effect. It's only when I drink a soda, I have that effect. So it's the things that I put into my body that we know aren't good for us that is causing that reaction to occur from the cup. So I adhere to the cup. I drink from the cup all day long. I fill it up once at night before I go to bed. I place an apple on the top of it because I like the taste of the apple. It draws it into the cup. The smell is absolutely phenomenal. I can't even explain how a cup could do that. The taste, after 4 hours, you get a hint. After 12 hours, you get the whole taste of the apple, but no sweetness. At 24 hours of letting it sit with the apple on top of it, it is an amazing taste, like apple cider without any sugar at all. And the smell is phenomenal. So it kind of becomes intriguing to put different fruits on there to get the different tastes from the fruits, and knowing that I'm also getting the nutrients from the fruit because the fuel forces are drawing from the fruit into the cup, as Mr. Keshe has explained before. So this is proof again. These are 2 things in my life that involving Mr. Keshe's technology that I've experienced for myself and witnesses around. And I've experimented with people on my cup. We've experimented. A friend of mine has actually not a friend of mine. A friend of my wife's has a problem with medication. So I let her drink from the cup, and she didn't have to have no medication for a whole day. Said she went home, cleaned her house, said she'd felt better than she'd felt in years, and could I make her a cup? So I've done 3 independent tests on this, and they've all confirmed the same results. So that's why I went ahead and purchased what I could at the local place, all the cups that they had, so I could put into production these cups and get them out to people that would really benefit from them. And that would be the poor and the needy and the people that can't make these cups or don't have the access to make them or the financial means to make the cups.
People are asking, how do you make the cups?
Yes, sir. Sure. No problem at all. The cup is a double wall cup that you can pick up at any dollar store that we have here in the States, and I'm sure you have them around the world. And they're $1 a cup. They're a double walled cup. Do
you want to show it? Show it there.
Yeah, I sure can. Yeah, I sure can if you'd like me.
If we have time, Mr. Kesh, for this
Whole
part.
day today.
Just need me to share screen, Rick?
Yeah.
Yep. You should be able to there now, I think.
Okay, which screen do I share? Desktop?
Well, try not to show it.
There we go. There we go. I got it. Yeah, I know.
Got it. He's learning fast here. He's on the fast path.
Yes, sir. Put that a little bit out of everybody's way there. Maybe it won't affect too many people. There we go. Okay, now this is my cup right here that I drink from and I've got a cup here that we'll go through how to make real fast. This is my instructional cup. As you can see, my apple's on top of it. It's fire coated caustic with CO2 GANS and distilled water. And this is, wow, I can't say enough about the cup. Now the process in making the cup, you need a double walled cup. Okay. You have a clear double wall cup you can get at any dollar store. They're usually $1. I heat up a razor blade to go along the seams. That way you won't crack or bust the cup, and it comes apart really easy, and you make a nice seam. You don't have a jagged seam there. You separate the cup. Then you can take a piece of paper like so and wrap around the cup till you get the conical shape of the cup, and then use a pair of scissors and cut it out. And then you've got a diagram which you can lay on top of a sheet of copper, and then you lay it on the sheet of copper, and the diagram will come out looking like this, in this kind of fashion here. Now when you heat the copper, it re-anneals the copper. It makes it like putty. You can bend it real easy and you won't kink it. You can't do this without annealing the copper, and that means getting it hot to the rainbow color. As you can see, it's rainbow color. Then you can wrap the copper around the cup like so. All right, now once you've got your form and you've got it good in form, you got it the way you want it, nice and snug, then you can continue with the fire coating process. And what I did was I fire coated this, and then I caustic coated mine 5 times in a 16 coating. And then I placed it back on the cup. I inserted it with my GANS, and I put 20 milliliters of concentrated CO2 GANS in here. And as you push the cup down, the GANS will rise. So you have to do this a couple times to get the water level up to where you want it to mix with the GANS. So you add water and you push down on the cup until it comes up, and then you add water until you get it to where you want it, and then you push down, and I seal with a rubber cement, and then allow a weight to sit on it upside down like this, with a weight sitting on top of it, which I use my big family Bible sitting on top of the cup, and I leave it set for 24 hours, and then the cup is sealed and it's ready to start putting water in. Now I've done tests with the meter on the cup, This cup with just the fire coating on will raise the pH up, but it takes 4 hours. With the caustic and the fire coating, the pH raises up in 1 hour, 1 hour exactly. It jumps up dramatically. It'll take RO water, which has nothing in it, which the guy said a while ago, reverse osmosis water, has no nutrients in it at all. No parts per million, no undissolved solids. And it usually comes out of the RO at about 7, neutral. This will raise the pH up in the RO water to almost 8 in an hour, and raises the parts per million and the undissolved solids. I fire coat first, yes, and then I caustic coat. Yes, I fire coat to get the structure formed the way that I want it, so the metal is malleable and soft, and I can form it in any fashion that I need to. And then when I'm done with the final forming of the cup, then I caustic coat it. And I do it like I said, I did mine 5 times in a steam caustic, and that has worked for me. And Mr. Kesh, I can't tell you how many times I'll say it for the rest of my life. Thank you, because you have given me my life back, and you have given me my family back. And that's something that I had thought was lost for good. I really did.
Douglas, I love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for sharing all your knowledge with me. I'm just a poor old country boy, and this is my life. I'm at a loss for words, and just all from my heart. And there's nothing I wouldn't do for Mr. Kesh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for offering that, Douglas. It takes a lot to be able to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I thank you for being there and bringing us a lot of joy. You said a lot of things which it was just sitting and going like what we call deja vu. We have seen people by using the cups losing the appetite for smoking. It's just that it's not the body, it just changes because you use it. It changes because it uses CO2, and if you mix some zinc GaNs into it as well on top, it brings you a lot of fast emotional comfort. So not only add the CO2, add the zinc oxide, the GaNs into it. We've seen people who've been addicted to cocaine within the first 3 days. They just go vomiting if they even come near cocaine, using the same kind of technology. We've seen people who've been paralyzed drinking and using the cup after 27 years walking off the wheelchair. The process is very simple. The system, when you drink it, it gives you what is lacking in emotion and in what we call understanding of the emotion, which connects to the zinc and to the copper. In a way, your CO2 is not a pure CO2. When you produce it, there is some what we call it, zinc oxide in it. Mm-hmm. So it gives you, in a way, we look at the energy, just we need to eat to have energy. Our emotion needs energy too. So with this cup, because of the way it's constructed with the zinc and CO2, you both, with the nano coating of the copper, you feed the soul the emotion, you feed with the copper the neural system, which is the muscle tissues, and with the GaNs you feed with the GaNs of the zinc, you feed your inner emotion, which is totally 3 different things. So you feed what has been missing, and now that's why you feel better. We've seen this many years, and it's nice to see how simply you have made it. A layman can do it. And when you said your father can do these things, we've seen this many times. We've seen people in bed, people who could not walk more than 200 to 100 meters, they do 10 kilometers. It is, if people who see this, these things do happen because the material in the cups is made of the material in your body. So when you transfer the plasmatic energy of it into your body, it's already absorbed the minute you touch your mouth. And a lot of time, I have said this to a lot of our people, is that with drinking these waters, you actually, the minute the energy touches your lips, energy is transferred. The water is just a converter. If you use even anything else will do the same. But one thing more you can do with what you have, make a cup lid for it. Make a hole in the lid and put a straw in it and breathe it. That feeds your lung, yes. So you need to breathe from it. Not the water, but you suck the air, but you have to make the airflow very, very slow, that the conversion takes place. This, it does, we've seen it, I made it, I used to make 3 cups and then 2 cups. And more or less, it was a combination of what you see in different levels. If you add the fat, the amino acid on top of your container, you'll find out you hardly need to eat. So, because now you receive the protein level. This is what we were teaching for the time of disaster. People who you do not have food to eat, these cups, these kind of things is the only way to receive protein energy. When we say protein, an apple is a protein-based, cauliflower is a protein-based, wheat is 80% protein, and all sorts of things. We don't need meat only. Anything we eat is amino acid based. So in the time of disaster or in the time of even hunger, if you add the CO2, the copper you put in there, and then you put the zinc oxide, CH3, and the amino acid, you never need to eat. This is the beauty with it, and that's what the cups are there. We are testing these cups, as I said here, with another person, which I brought it with me. Armo made it, and you can do the same. If you made it the pen, if you add the CH3, if you add some of the fat which you connected, and seal the pen, put the pen in the water, it gives you the same energy. You don't need to make a cup. You can feed yourself and do the same thing. Just leave it like a what they call a spoon in the water, and you receive all the energy from it. But you have to understand what you do and how you do it. And we launch the pen pens from tomorrow. These pen pens, you can use them for anything, even feeding yourself, not even just putting it aside when you have a pain. You can drink it. It gives you the same kind of energy as a pain relief. You don't need to buy aspirin, because in some pains you cannot put a pen on. Just put a pen in the water, the pain pens which is made in the water, and drink the water. You get the same reaction. Yes, you can mix the gases. This is the opportunity. You can do a lot of things. One of the things, if you can find clean reservoirs, natural water reservoirs, like in north of England you can do in Lake District area. If you make a GANs from these kind of things where there is not much pollution, these are one of the best GANSes to use because it's naturally balanced. If you have any deficiencies in short of an element in your body, if you use the caustic of sulfur, if you can make some very, very slight amount of it, when you drink it, and just add 1 drop in the whole pack, this will allow the energy to be balanced in your body, even especially people who have a problem with the thyroid gland. It receives the energy that you find out it balances thyroid gland. Very small amount of sulfur. You find even your nail changes, your habit changes, your posture changes, because phosphor in our, I was teaching this to I think to the people in Philippines when we were in the hospital. Phosphor you need it because sulfur you need it because in our body is a regenerator of the balancing of the change. If you can make a GANs of it, you can do it very, very little amount, not much, and maybe one drop in the whole cup is more than enough. And you find out the body will start transferring its own minerals to the right way, and you will achieve what you need. Yes, sulfur in the GANS state. And on the other hand, if you got a problem with hemoglobin, or you have a problem with red blood cell counts, if you have a diseases like the blood cancer, add a small amount, very small amount. Put the when you make the CO2, I was teaching yesterday in the private teachings. Put the CO2, put a small nail, metal nail, into, or very just touching the GANs, the protein GANs on top of the container, that it becomes red drops. Pick those red drops up. This is the blood hemoglobin, and you can put it in a cup the same way as you showed it, and then you find out you can overcome blood cancer very rapidly, because the body picks up the energy which is needed for blood. These are pure bloods. It doesn't matter your type A, B, or whatever you are. These are the things that we start opening up, and people are trying, and it can repair back to us. There are different ways. I have used this for nearly 15 years. All the systems built, and we've seen results for it, is built in that way, but using magnets and hiding the nanomaterials in it, and the GANs materials in it. Now, because when you do it the way you do it, I used to do it with the magnets, you dictate a lot of positioning. Here you don't have any condition for positioning. All the elements of the body receives if they don't need. But when you have a problem, a cup, the way you have it, if you can put it in like a circles and stick it in certain positions, you can dictate where you want the energy. You want it in the liver, you want it in the thing. Turn your cup upside down, the cup you have in your hand, turn it upside down, please. Douglas, can you hear me?
Can you put the cup upside down, Douglas?
Turn your cup upside down. The one you just showed us.
I can turn the other one that I've got made upside down.
Okay. The top end, because all the energy goes and accumulates at the bottom, the top end is your head. If you put a line, I've shown this in some of the private teachings in the knowledge seekers in the first or second term, when we were in Loom. If you divide this into 3 pieces, divide it, now don't shake it, doesn't matter. If you go from the top where it is now to the where you drink from, the top end, the 1/3 top, is the position of your brain and your head. The middle part is no, turn it upside down, yeah. Divide this in just about equal from the top to bottom. You take the top end. Let me go on my screen. You come off, I show you in my teaching. I'll go back on can you stop sharing, please, Douglas?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then I'll show you in teachings. Then you know when you make these cups, how you can overcome a lot of problems. Can you see my
No, we see the desktop. Now we see it, yep.
You see it, okay. This is your cup. What you do, you divide your cup in 3 levels. And this is where you drink from, This is the open end, this side. This side here, this is your head. This side is your lung and heart. And this side is your stomach and legs. Here, in certain parts, is your arms. And here in the end is your legs. So your head is up here. You can create patches. You know the way you use patches and you put on your body, the GANs patches? You can make a small GANs patches and then dictate which part of the head, brain you want. And then you decide where you want to affect, if it's the liver or a kidney, or is it just above the liver you want to do it, or you want to do the wrong left or right lung? Do you want to operate within within the heart? Here in these sides, just above, is important for liver and kidney, even though the liver and kidney just sit on this arm. Because then what you have to do, you put your livers and kidneys and everything else, if it is the womb or prostate problem, here. And then you turn the cup upside down. In a way, if I can do it, if I can, I don't know if I can turn my picture. When it turns upside down, when you drink from it, most of the energy is this part. You don't need that much energy here. And then as you drink the cup, you put your straws where your illness is. If you have a problem with your lungs, you always drink from here. You start. And the water, as it comes down, it changes the information. If you, it doesn't matter how I can turn my page, I don't know. I don't see turning. So
I think you can, Mr. Keshe, with the tools there. You'd have to select your whole image, and then there's a rotate function there, it looks like.
It says rotate there on the top left.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Under
right
image.
next to the select. There's a
yeah. Rotate 180. Okay, but I'm rotated too far out now. Okay, so now we are right. So what you do, you put your cup, your straw here. You want to do with your heart. Depends if it's your right lung or left lung. If it is, you're dealing with the right or left hemisphere of the body. And then you treat your cup like your own body, and you can drink from where you have the pain, but you keep on drinking and going down because the nerve information goes to the brain. A lot of times when you have emotional problem, I ask the people to drink from the bottom directly. And then you close the top and you breathe from the same. And depends where your problem is, you breathe from that. So the cup, Yeshua has always said, when you, I showed you, I opened the cup in one of the private teachings in the foundation. And I always said that if you can control the head, which is this part, you don't really need the body. You can carry a man in a space just using his brain, because wherever you go, then through the structure of emotion and the physicality, you can create the body according to the environment you arrive in. And I heard a very funny thing that somebody told the people in the Red Circle he wants to behead people like they do in Syria. He's a terrorist. This shows how terrorist these people. This brought this memory back, that these guys were not, when they did this, Mr. Red Circle has got 3 of these cups. That's why he can write so much. He was paralyzed in the left hand. Just using these cups, I fed my own enemy with my own technology. And every time he drank it, every time he pressed a button, he said, "Thank you, Keshe, for giving me life back." And now this is how it works.
Mr. Keshe, you showed it initially with magnets. Is there any other way other than patches?
Yes, you can do it with magnets, but if you can do magnets, magnets are usually used circular magnets. You have, the way I always done, nobody sees, I embed the GANs inside it. Then you glue it, you put a patch on, and then you use hot glue, which is I use, and then it's the same thing. But the patches are not, this way you can control the direction. Why I use magnets is because I can control direction, because you got to understand a magnet has both north and south. If I have a body, a cup, and I want to increase the energy, let's say you have a cancer. You have a cancer in your right lung, okay? Cancer means extra energy. What do I need to do? I need to take the energy, not give energy to increase it. So what do you do? Taking energy means you have to face 2 south poles, because the energy comes out, it goes into the south pole. So you put your magnets, you put your GANs in the center, and you place it here. But I need to take energy from it. So here is my south pole, this is my north face. And then you do the same here. You put a south pole and into north pole. So if you can correctly diagnose it in the right place, these 2 will drain energy from this. So you see the reduction in cancer. If you suffer from, I'm going to put a save on this, it's new, save. I call it, oh, I said don't save, it's gone, doesn't matter. If I can go backwards, no I can't. So let's say if you have fibromyalgia, you need energy. What is the energy? Energy means, first of all, you have to feed your psychological, and then mainly you have pains everywhere. So adding two, it means to feed it. This is the brain in two halves of it, and then you put your north on this side, because north is where the energy goes out, and south when it is there. And you put the gans of zinc and CO2 only, and then you want to do the same thing with here. And then you want to, for example, is the arm which is paralyzed. So you want to feed the arm, you don't want to go anywhere else. You feed this here, and then you put a unit here on the same way. You can specifically target each area of the body. That's why you see when I make cups that in different sizes and shapes, I decide with the strength of the magnet, with the scans I put in, if I want to target. If I want to target very direct, I use a very small magnet. When I want to cover a big area, I use a big magnet. And when I want to literally hammer something, I use a solid disc magnet. If there is a genetic defect, you use a rectangular magnet. Very, very rarely used. You have to know what you're using it for, because now you transfer copy to copy. This is a very specific, takes a long time to understand it. Then you can direct, you transfer energy of here, and you build it to come to the brain. So you follow, you use rectangular magnets on the side, and then it takes shape. You go from one side of the brain to the side you want to go, so you make direction in your what do you call it, in your cup. And you follow it if it's an emotional, because it's got there with the gans inside it. This is a technique I've used for years, and that's why we see, and now you can do it. You know how what the gans is and how I use it. But magnets directionalize it. You focus it, like bulleted. Very big magnets you use with a big hole. If you use a very big solid magnets, you want to cover a whole stomach, you can't put so many. You use two very big magnets, and you put your gans underneath and you pressurize it. Those of who are in Germany who write to keep on writing to the other guys in Belgium to do this and to do that, he's doing that. Send this to them and say the cups you cut in what do you call it, in SCK Nuclear Center, finding nuclear material, this, now the knowledge is open. I hope when you get a cancer, you remember where you can come. We'll still help you. So you understand this. This is why they try to kill us, in finding how to reverse cancer so easily. And they paid a lot of millions to the people who planned our killing in the towers of the Antwerp. And they still, we gave them a hand, and they used the hand to write all this rubbish on the internet. They are spies, they paid, they even sell their own children. Okay, you brought a lot of memories back, but now you understand what these cups are. This is the cup you have, understand what you're doing. Now when you put your copper like this around it with the bottom open, this is what you have created. It's here. I'm gonna put a pen on it. Here at the bottom, you don't have the, I made a mistake here, sorry. Let me show you what it is. Here at the bottom, you haven't got the copper coating. Your copper you showed us is here. And then at the bottom here, you have created GANs here. Hey boy. Your GAN sits here. I need a thicker one. And that goes here. Your GAN sits here. So when you push it down, it's not so much that the GANs goes up. You already have introduced the energy of the GANs from the bottom. By the GANs going up on the sides, you bring it more balanced fields. But in fact, here is more powerful at the bottom. But when you mix other things in it, if you can sectionalize it, you can feed the arm, the leg, and whatever you need. Or use patches on it, and you can do the same. Any other thing?
Mr. Keshe, I'd just like to briefly show you the one of the question on using the logos on the cup. It might be appropriate now, so I'll just do a screen share of that.
I've withdrawn. You can go ahead.
This is from Lion Zhang, I think. He's making his health cups and giving them out for free, and he wants to know if he can use the two logos on the cup. That would be the KFSSI logos.
We've seen only Chinese are doing this, and I've seen in Philippines being used. Unless you don't receive a permission from us, do not do it, because there are a lot of things happening in the coming time that we would explain to you why not. And you send the thing to us, we give you a certification as a right, which you can use it. If you're giving it free, we give it to you free too, because it's yours, it's not ours. We're just protecting. We've seen other people who set up selling things on the internet, especially in China, and people are saying if you donate, we give you this, but all the donation goes. We've seen an act in Switzerland, people selling the power units at a very high price through their own bank account. Your agents, your distributors, you can do it. But soon we give all the distributors, anybody who gives units free, what do you call it, the permission to do it, that we protect those are who fake will be shown very quick, because you'll be carrying a barcode, a specific number that it shows is you, and we can track where it comes from. There are reasons for it, because we've seen people especially going out to do deliberate damage, and we have to stop it to safeguard the Keshe Foundation supporters worldwide. In a short time coming, we will be in China, hopefully, and we stay there like once we establish the Dubai here, and we stay in China till we raise the Keshe Foundation China to where it should be. And then we'll see where we're going to go and how we carry on with the things. But we thank the Chinese community for their huge support, especially people in the centers who are doing the teachings freely to the public.
Okay, I know we want to wrap things up here, Mr. Keshe. There was the video about the winding of coils, but maybe we could put that, that's about 5 minutes from JF, but we probably want to describe that in more detail. Should we put that forward to Tuesday or something?
I don't know. Oh, yes, we need that today. Yes, just give
Okay.
it 10 minutes.
Okay. So you want to see the video? There's also a
Yes.
couple of PDFs about the details of it, but we can show the video.
Yeah, we
Let's
can do it. Let us know, because we have international listeners. From today, more or less, I think if Vince can put it in the shop, you can buy a winding machine which does the nano coating at the same time, computerized, built by support of the Keshe Foundation partial financing by Jeff DuPont, which we agreed a 50% holding by the Keshe Foundation. And this machine is in the market. It takes, I think it can only make about a couple of them a week. All the weight and size and measurements is in the hand of Vince, I think by now it should be, and the video, where you can produce any size, any shape. You can program your own winding machine and nano coating, so you don't have to worry how to wind or whatever. The machine is fully computerized. You can make as many coating as you like. You can make how to coat it. Everything is more or less should be perfect. There'll be some teething problems, but overall is there to support you. This is the machine, the first winding nano coating magnet machine. The one on the left is the winding, and the one on the side you see two nozzles. These are the nano coating systems. Everything is made with the space. You don't need to reopen it to rewind it. The system is designed to meet what we need and what can be done adjusted. It makes about 1 coil of 144 every 40 odd seconds. So it's you decide what you want to make, the gap you want to make. You can make about 120 coils on an 8-hour shift. This is mainly for mass production. So on a 3 shift, you can make about 360 units per unit per machine. And if you want to make 3,000, you need 10 of them, and the price, which means that 7,500 euro, is literally very cheap. This is the computer side of it. It's all been built. It's handmade, and you can see how it does everything. And then when you coil it, then you can see the nano coating is precision. I think it would have been nice if you would have spoken. So you see the two sets is complete, and if you are a manufacturer, you can use Mac3 with PC or laptop programming. As we said from the beginning, we support everything. Even if you want to buy mass copper, we can still be applied from the Iranian copper industry at the rates which you cannot buy in the market. So we are setting things up for manufacturing as much as everything else. This is for making the capacitors or the coils for the pens. The beauty of it is you can use a car battery to run it in where places there is no electricity. The machine you can use a car battery. Thank you very much, Jeff. It's a beautiful job what you've done. It goes everything for the GaNs, when you make your GaNs from GaNs coating, and everything else which is needed to dry it. So you can place your orders, and as we said, there is a production limit of about 2 a week. And so we tell you according when the delivery will be as you order. Is Jeff in the background?
Yeah, I didn't see him there.
I think he's asleep, or he's been working late. So you can go. Have you put the sale point on the website for the coil machine, Vince? Yeah, it's going to be boxed. Export point is Canada. You have to pay for the shipping, and the license, what they call it, for import taxes is your duty. It'll get shipped it'll be organized by Ella from Italy, and this is how it's going to be. The next step for us these are the technical. Stop. It's the box of it. No, go down, please. The other way, please. It says system dimension is 1000 by 400 by 300. Length maximum 800. Coils diameter 2 millimeter to 15 millimeter. And everything else is in there. Electrical control, supply 120 to 400 watt. Can run on a car battery, run on a PC, Mac3 or a CNC control machine program. So you see everything is there, and we are slowly covering all aspects of the technology within the Keshe Foundation, and we promote people who do these kind of things. We made a part finance for this to start, and he's done a beautiful job. When you see this, it's taken him nearly 4 months to make it. And this is what we said, in time, this technology will create more jobs than man could ever imagine. And we've seen it now. By the way, I have to congratulate the Keshe Foundation Manufacturing Italy for what you achieved yesterday. Keshe Foundation Manufacturing, as of yesterday, agreement has been reached. We move into a 6,000 square meter factory in north of Italy. We changing location. We were expecting it, now it's finalized yesterday, and I'm sure the factory will put out employment list that we would like to employ people with the Keshe Foundation knowledge with nano coating, that when you go into work, you have a job. The job is specifically for Italians. I mention again, the job, this factory work is specifically at the moment for Italians. If you're Italian looking for a job, and you are well in nano coating, get in touch with Giovanni in the Keshe Foundation in Italy, italy.it, and he will organize for you to be interviewed by the factory. It's owned, this is the Italian direction, owned 51% by us, and the rest is with the Italian investors and who started the factory with us. We have, our managers has taken over early this month. So we're going into a full production, employing large number of people in Italy. I think Germans will follow us very soon. And I'm financing the same for Japan. Keshe Foundation Japan as a manufacturer will come into production very soon. What is important, and we cannot forget, is to thank people who are in the background doing so much so well. I thank the Italian community, very especially Giovanni and the Italian community in the south of Italy and north of Italy who supported us and support the Keshe Foundation. Please remember, from 1st of March, we open a plug on all the channels, KFSSI, Spaceship Institute, and keshefoundation.org. On the section of the teaching, you can sign in and register yourself to become a student in Italian and English at minimum donation of €100. We give you options. You think how much this knowledge will worth and you want to be part of it to learn, and you'll be allowed to join the Keshe Foundation teaching directly, not any €1,000 anymore, €100 minimum. Those who cannot afford it can pay that. Those of you who want to have it on the cheap, still you receive the cheap. But as we promised, we bring the technology and teaching and the reach of every man on this planet. We saw in our teaching yesterday, we had a gentleman who loves to do the technology from African nation, who's used the free access to teaching, and now he sits with the students like everybody else, and he can teach his own nation and nationals in the coming kind. So, as we promised, we hopefully by the 1st of March or sometimes in March, we'll have 100 donation for the Chinese language teaching too. China.keshefoundation.org will come into operation. That you, if you're Chinese anywhere in the world, you can make a contribution of €100 or whatever you like, you see appropriate above that, and you can start being a student at Keshe Foundation Institute as a student. And if we go the way we see after the opening on the 21st of and 22nd of April, if we see the situation perfect, we will make and spread a move in respect to the teaching. Teaching still stays open and free to the African nations, and with it we add in certain places like South America and part of India, that access and teaching should be free to these nations, because we are in that position. We leave it on the donation free unless you click, I need to be free, I can't afford it. Then you do it on your own trust. We give you option. You want to donate, you want to do it free because I can't afford it. Then you have to be honest with yourself. And we leave it to you to make a donation. So we are keeping to what we said, and we're keeping to our word what we kept, that we will bring the teaching accessible by everyone. And we all have seen today, we are a truly international organization. We heard from Africa in Benjamin. We heard from our friends in United States. We heard from Mexico, we heard from the Philippines, we heard from Chile, and we heard from Germany and other part of the world. Keshe Foundation has become truly one family, one nation.
Mr. Keshe, maybe we can also hear from Keshe Foundation Australia, who they claim to have a little video here showing the people involved and the new warehouse factory in Melbourne. I thought maybe we could end with that, or we could carry on if you want to.
There is nothing else.
Okay.
Carry on. Show us, and then we say goodbye. We say goodbye to you. We see you at Dubai event, 21st, 22nd of April. We have made arrangement for you to be able to get cheap tickets and your visa through. It doesn't belong to us. It's the agency which will support you to get your visa and your ticket. And as we said, the first 500 stays at €500, and after that goes to €750, plus the food, which is 150, or you want to join the dinner gala at €150. Make sure from every nation we have somebody on the floor, because the nation, when we say, is the language. Every language has to be represented, because now we become a nation of languages, not a nation of borders. Thank you very much for being with us, and hopefully after this video you can close with the both promotion video and the last video we usually use. Carry on, please.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And we'll just play through this video and then end with the other two. Okay.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. This is our Keshe Foundation of Australia. Today we had a first meeting in our warehouse, and it's the 7 of us for now in Melbourne only. We got meetings going on still throughout the whole Australia. Today we had around 11 people, and yeah, it's been going well. And this is Liz Miller.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. It's lovely
Another
to
very
meet
active
you.
member of the foundation. She was the reason why we have this warehouse, and the warehouse belongs to this gentleman right here, Faraz. And yeah, Liz, would you like to say something else?
Yes. So we're sitting here in a space where we're hoping to set up our headquarters. We're very excited. We have a lot of people here in this country who have a lot of very special skills, a lot of knowledge. They've been studying hard like all of us, and we're ready. We're ready to start, and we're reaching out to you because our applications are coming now. We will send you a cover email as well, just to list all of the names in the leaders group and to explain more about what we plan to do here. But today, for example, we were chatting about all of the different innovations on health pens that we, as a group around Australia, have been experimenting with, and all of our great results. The car units, using GANS patches for just energizing the petrol in the cars, working on our animals as well as humans, of course, with the health applications. It's really coming along nicely, and we are so excited. So we can't wait to begin officially being Keshe Foundation Australia.
Yes. And this is our warehouse. And this is our Keshe Foundation. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you.
Vince, did you have that other video to play? Okay. Okay, we'll do the other intro.
people listening from every corner of this planet. No knowledge has been dispersed so beautifully, so balanced across the planet, on this planet ever, maybe in the universe. You have the full potential of achieving everything in the universe. There is no need and there is no reason for man not to achieve. So, wherever you are, the way I taught you to make the coils double inside, you have continuous equal gravitational magnetic field, and if you put CO2 on it, and you put zinc on it, you have connected the emotion of the man to it on a stable condition, and you'll find out you become a very peaceful man. Here, instead of having galaxies and universes and creating connection magnetically, we have used the matter state gravitational magnetic field strength to dominate and dictate the shape of the plasma. The nanotechnology, the nanomaterial which you have collectively developed in different ways, by caustic, by electric currents, by whatever, fire or whatever, has that advantage that the matter, the nano, and the plasma is all the same. So connection is very solid. It's very strong. The power of the plasma technology, the way we have thought, is beyond imagination of the man. Now you can create and control the plasma, which is the mother of the creation of the universe. You are given the seed of the essence of the creation. The foundation does not belong to no one and is not made of one anymore. You are developing it. You are structuring it. And from today, we will be still the same. We'll still develop the technology in different names, in different colors, in different nationalities which they do not exist. It is beautiful when we see the Christian, the Muslims, the Jews, and every other belief are working together to build up systems. We have already become one faith. We already have become one nation, and we already become one planet. You got to remember one thing. Dates is irrelevant. Today is the last day of the Christian calendar, or tomorrow is the beginning of another. One day is connected to another. We don't stop. We are working around the clock. The Keshe Foundation team is working in respect to our time, position, religion, country. And now we achieve what we set out for.
You're invited to partake in the creation of humanity's first Universal Community Council on April 21st and 22nd, 2016 in Dubai at the One Planet, One Nation, One Race Conference. World leaders and prominent business persons have been invited to attend. However, representatives of the Council will be selected irrespective of language, race, creed, or position in life. The Council will have many responsibilities. It will support the people of humanity and their governments. It will help bring balance across the globe and unite humanity for the benefit of all mankind. It will act as a bridge between humanity and the universal community. The first 500 packages sold will cost €500. All thereafter, €750, which includes 1 seat in the main conference room and 3-night stay in Dubai's prestigious 5-star Alanis Palm Hotel, 2 persons per room. Breakfast on the days of the conference are also included. 2 tea breaks and 1 lunch per day will cost an additional €75 per day. Discount airfares are also available. The One Planet, One Nation, One Race Conference. You're invited. We hope to see you there.
And that's the end of the 101st Keshe Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And once again, thank you everybody for attending, and thank you to Mr. Keshe, especially for all his hard work and efforts over many years. Okay. And let's not forget Vince either. He's been keeping our backs for a long time here. Thank you, Vince. All right.